आए आपसे, आप शर्मा रहे थे उधर।
Hi, this is Mahan Arman Sindhya for Brute.
Full-time entrepreneur, but currently campaigning for his father in the Guna constituency. Mahan Arman Sindhya, thank you so much for speaking to Brute.
Thank you so much for coming and taking some time out.
At 13, you began. I believe when you were 18, it was the Lok Sabha election when you were campaigning again for your father. How has each of that been different from this time around?
So, firstly, of course, when I began when I was 13, I was quite innocent and scared of speaking among such a large crowd and being confident, and also how to kind of maneuver around people and make sure everyone's happy and make sure I'm humble and I am down to earth with every single person. And I think one of the toughest things that you learn throughout these years is how to keep your patience and how to keep smiling throughout long hours of campaigning, because every stop that you make, people are waiting for you. And although you've been campaigning for a whole day and you've kind of taken out all your blood and sweat in the heat, in the moment with people, you have to still show the same amount of energy as it's your first meeting.
ये बताइए कि कौन से कुछ इश्यूज हैं गुना कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी के जो उभर के अभी सामने आए हैं इस बार आपने जब कैंपेनिंग की है तब?
देखिए, आप जानते ही हैं, सबसे पहले ये दौरान जो है गर्मी की मौसम है, और जब गर्मी की मौसम होती है हर साल जगह जगह में पानी की भी कठिनाइयाँ होती हैं। तो हम चाहते हैं कि अब इस समस्या का हम साथ में एक हल निकालें। जो ऐतिहासिक तौर पे आप देखते थे तो हर क्षेत्र में ताल होते थे, और ताल के होने से जो पानी की व्यवस्था थी वो मजबूत होती थी। हर गांव में पानी देते थे, हर किसान को गांव पानी देते थे। तो हम जो तालों का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है वो उसको थोड़ा और मजबूत करना चाहते हैं।
थोड़ी सी डिटेल्स बताइए, जैसे कैसे करेंगे आप?
जैसे कि हर बस्ती में करीब 12 गांव होते हैं, 10 गांव होते हैं, तो हर बस्ती के लिए करीब 2 से 3 ताल होंगे ताकि हर बस्ती को पानी की व्यवस्था साल भर मिले। आप जानते हैं बारिश के मौसम में कितनी ज़ोर से बारिश होती है इस पूरे क्षेत्र में। तालों की मदद से अगर हम वो पानी सेव करें, कंजर्व करें, तो उससे काफ़ी लाभ हमारी जनता को मिलेगी। हम जाते हैं गांव-गांव में, हम युवाओं से मिलते हैं, हमने देखा है कि उनकी जो रुचि है वो इतनी बढ़ गई है खेल कूद की तरफ। तो हम चाहते हैं गाँवों में मैदान बने ताकि हमारे जो युवाएं हैं उनको जो खिलाड़ी बनना चाहते हैं, जो देश को रिप्रेजेंट करना चाहते हैं, जो हमारे प्रदेश को रिप्रेजेंट करना चाहते हैं, हम चाहते हैं कि उनके लिए व्यवस्था हो ताकि उनकी ट्रेनिंग सही से हो, और उसके साथ साथ कॉम्पिटिशन्स बने ताकि उनका जो अपस्किलिंग हो, ताकि जो उनका एक अनुभव हो वो बढ़ते जाए, और हम मध्य प्रदेश को और एक क्षेत्र को, हमारे अशोकनगर, शिवपुरी और गुना के क्षेत्र को एक स्पोर्ट्स हब भी बनाए।
MP लीग के बारे में भी आपने बात की है, थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में बताएं।
तो अभी कुछ हफ्तों पहले हमने अनाउंस किया था मध्य प्रदेश प्रीमियर लीग, जिसके द्वारा हम एक मंच बना रहे हैं जिससे जो हमारे युवा खिलाड़ी हैं उनको एक मौका मिलेगा। सबसे पहले जो अनुभवशाली प्लेयर्स हैं हमारे देश में, जो मध्य प्रदेश से हैं, उनके साथ खेलने के लिए गांव-गांव से लोग को खेलने का मौका मिलेगा। दूसरा है उनको कमाने का मौका मिलेगा। टूर्नामेंट्स होते रहते हैं लेकिन उनको कमाने का मौका नहीं मिलता है, इस टूर्नामेंट से उनको कमाने का मौका मिलेगा। तीसरा है, महत्वपूर्ण चीज़ है, जो इंडियन स्काउट्स है और जो स्टेट के स्काउट है जो प्लेयर को सिलेक्ट करते हैं, उनको एक संबंध बनाने का मौका मिलेगा इन लोगों के साथ। चौथी चीज़ है, इस मंच से हम पूरे देश का जो टेलीविज़न ब्रॉडकास्टिंग करेंगे, हम MPL को पूरे देश में ब्रॉडकास्ट करेंगे ताकि जो हमारे प्लेयर्स हैं उनको एक मंच मिले, जो हर देशवासी उनको देखे कि कैसे खेल रहा है ये बंदा, और उसको इंडियन टीम में होनी चाहिए या मध्य प्रदेश की टीम पे होनी चाहिए। और आखिरी जो मुद्दा है, इसका बहुत महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दा है, मैंने अनुभव किया है कि अगर हमें एक लहर बनाना है क्रिकेट के लिए और एक बदलाव बनाना है क्रिकेट के लिए मध्य प्रदेश में, तो सारे भागों को एक साथ करना होगा। और कौन है ये बाघ? ये बाघ है आपकी व्यापार की कम्युनिटी, बिजनेस की कम्युनिटी, आपकी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो क्रिकेट की एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है, तीसरी है आपकी पब्लिक जो मैच देखने आएगी, उनसे प्लेयर्स को जोश आएगा कि भाई इतने लोग, इतनी जनता मुझे देखने आ रही है, मुझे सही से खेलना है। चौथी है आपकी जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर।
This is the first time that your father is contesting on a BJP ticket from here, and you are now campaigning as well. How do you have a different style of connecting with the constituents this time around?
So, firstly, let me say that there is a huge change in the way campaigning is done. What I've noticed and what I've observed is that from what it was and what it is today with the BJP, there is a huge emphasis on data. There's a huge analysis that's done on each area with what are the problems and what are the solutions that can be made there. So you're well prepared when you go to each and every public meeting. It's not like you're going unprepared and then you're a bit lost, thinking what does this area need. You study the area, you study the people, you study the problems, you study the data, and then you go and you meet the public so that you are well informed, and the people are then proud to know that the person who's coming to meet me knows what I expect from him. And that's the connection that you end up building, because then you're connecting the people with someone who has a futuristic viewpoint.
Do you have ambitions to get into the political life?
Not right now. I think, as you said, I'm quite focused on my startup, and my investors have put a lot of faith in me. So I'd like to kind of make it a success and make sure that I give them an ROI on their investment.
A lot of young viewers are watching you right now. What does it take for young people to get into politics?
As youngsters, a lot of the times we get excited with the idea of becoming a politician, with the fame around being a politician, but we forget about the fundamental duties of being a public servant. And I think that that's something you really have to think about carefully before joining politics, because you need to get the proper exposure. For example, you asked me, I decided not to enter politics until I have the right experience in my hands. I've worked at SoftBank, I've worked at BCG, I'm working on my own startup, so that I kind of understand the ground realities of our economy. I also understand what the problems are, not only in the business community, but also like this. Through my startup, I work in mandis, I understand what the problem of the average farmer is. And then once we understand these challenges and once our mind is used to creating solutions for them, then you should join politics. The third thing is you need to be independent financially, because if I'm not financially stable, it's always going to be behind my head ki, oh no, now I need money to pay for something, now I need to do something. Now if you have not done that for yourself, then how are you going to bring development to people?
You've met Prime Minister Modi.
Yes.
We saw that photograph, of course, which was in the public domain. What did he speak to you about? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I think that it was quite motivating, firstly, and a big opportunity to be able to meet our Prime Minister. A lot of youngsters want to do it, and I was privileged enough to be able to get that opportunity. Within that time period where I met him, I think it was a very motivational few minutes that I got, because he asked me a lot about my startup, how it works, what the plan is, and also I think he said something very valuable, which I have kind of inculcated, is that people like me and other youngsters need to now be an example for India to kind of make it out on your own. The government is going to give whatever they are going to give, but we can't be reliant on that. We have to be self-secure, we have to be confident in ourselves, and we have to have an idea and a problem that we want to tackle, and we create employment. We don't have to be, youngsters today are the most powerful people. Today, if youngsters come together and say, we are going to work on an idea, we're going to start working on startups, we're going to create employment, and we're not going to be people who are looking for employment anymore. That itself is going to change the shape of India. And I'll give you an example. That's primarily what happened in the US. If you look at the US, you study the economy, you see the investment and the kind of propulsion that came out of Silicon Valley, the kind of innovation, the kind of startups. it created a whole economy in itself.
Right.
It started driving employment, it started driving investments, it started triggering the economy. So similarly, India has a very powerful, in a very powerful stage right now. We are in something called a stage of a demographic dividend,
Right.
which means that our percentage of the population that is young is higher than the percentage of the population that's older, which means that this is the time that India has today. It's a very short, it's a narrow window, and it's the time that India has today where all the youngsters decide that they want to be productive, that they want to work on an idea, that they want to create employment, that they want to create something of their own. This is the time. I made it a point to not take any money from my parents or my family. Whatever money I made through my jobs, I invested that into my startup. I went out, I tried and raised money, failed 400 times.
Okay.
After failing 400 times, I got one check. That really propelled my startup and propelled my confidence in the idea as well. So this road again is not a very easy road. People assume that starting a startup is very trendy
And get rich really quickly.
yeah, and very cool. But it's not easy. It's easy to come up with an idea, but it's really difficult to execute an idea.
Okay, I'm down to my last 3 questions. The first one I wanted to ask you is on nepotism in any industry.
Yeah.
And it's
Very
obvious
good
why I'm asking you that.
Yeah.
So nepotism in any industry, what are your thoughts on that?
See, I don't think it's something that anyone can stop. When your family is invested in an area, what happens is that your dinner time conversation, your lunchtime conversation, and even your relaxation time with your family ends up being a discussion on that topic. Your experience around that area is much stronger because you're growing up learning about that. You're growing up reading about it. You're growing up studying it. So it's but natural for your experience to be geared towards something that your family has been working towards.
Right.
So it's something that intrinsically you can't stop. Whether you look at politics, whether you look at business, whether you look at sports, any sphere you look at, the next generation always has this inherent want and pride and need to take whatever their ancestors have brought to the table and take it to the next level.
One piece of advice that your father has given you, or maybe it's tough love, that you always stand by, and it stood you in good stead.
See, one major advice, as I said that earlier as well, is number one, and he follows this very rigorously, is that when you have work set out for a day, do not end the day until each and every paper, each project is finished and that table is wiped clean. Because you want to go to sleep happy and smiling that you have done what you had to, whether it's making a change in someone's life, whether it's working on your business model. You need to make sure that each and everything that you've marked out for that day is complete before you head to bed. Now, whether that time is 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 7 in the morning, doesn't matter. You got to finish it. So that the next day you wake up and you're able to take something else on your plate. Otherwise, things are going to keep on piling up and deadlines are never going to meet. That's number one. Number two, as I said earlier, I think one of the most valuable things that anyone has to have is humility. So these two things are very key ingredients. One is determination and the other one is humility.
Your pitch in 60 seconds for why young India should vote for the BJP.
So there are a lot actually. So 60 seconds is going to be difficult for me, but let's start with very quickly digital economy, right? Today, I observe from your thela wala down to your shopkeeper, your kirana store, everyone has a QR code. Never before was that done. Never before were transactions digital and transparent. Today, India is working on a digital economy. 40 to 50% of shopkeepers and businessmen have a QR code and transact on that QR code. Look at mobile penetration. Today, India is one of the fastest growing countries in terms of mobile and internet penetration. All of these factors are key to a successful economy, a digital economy. Look, third, let's look at innovation in the startup space. You have almost 1 lakh startups that have started in the last 8 years, out of which 100 are unicorns. It's a very proud moment. Look at FDI coming into India. Companies like Apple, Make in India. Companies like Apple and Tesla creating jobs. Apple's giving a commitment saying we will not only give 150,000 jobs, we will also provide housing for those jobs. Had never happened before. Make in India. Third, look at smartphone manufacturing. 2 years ago, smartphone manufacturing was at about $1 billion. Today, it's at $10 billion. Today, India is one of the highest strongholds in smartphone manufacturing. We are entering another phase, microconductors and semiconductors, which is majorly monopolized by countries like Taiwan and China. We are now taking that to the next stage, making India a central hub for semiconductor manufacturing and microconductor manufacturing. Huge step in India today.